Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and yet the results last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Dr. Tanya Paul's and Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment using your own natural hair. Advanced Hair restores your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning, and they guarantee your new hair will grow for life. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
What's up, guys? You need healthy options you'll actually crave? HelloFresh brings the flavor with homemade meals that are wholesome, fresh, and always hit the spot. Turn fresh, balanced ingredients into home-cooked meals that are easy to make and taste great. Keep your health on track with GLP-1 friendly options and high-protein meals packed with over 30 grams of protein. My lady is always telling me how I need more protein in my life. From udon soup to hearty chicken pastas, enjoy mouth-watering dishes that spice up your weeknights. Go to HelloFresh.com to explore plans and menus because nothing hits like home cooking.
New deals, new wheels. AutoNation's New Year, New Wheels event is going on now. Drive any new or used vehicle 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. Save thousands on Toyotas, Fords, Hondas, Chevys, Mercedes-Benz, and more. 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store today or AutoNation.com. On select models with approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase and deferred payments. See store for details.
Denver football faithful. Join Cherry Hills Community Church February 8th for their Super Sunday celebration at the 9 or 10:30 a.m. services. Hear guest speaker and former Bronco Joel Dreesen. Come for a full day of family-friendly fun and a chance to win a Broncos football, autographed by John Elway, Bo Nix, and Peyton Manning. Kids can enjoy an NFL-style experience. The whole family can enjoy free food. It's a Super Sunday celebration on February 8th at Cherry Hills Community Church. Learn more at cherryhills.com/events.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
And it is Denver Sports Tonight on this Tuesday night in the Mile High City. He's Marcello Romano. I'm Will Peterson. We will roll with you for the next hour. A busy, busy day in Broncos country. We hear from Sean Payton and George Payton at their end-of-season press conferences. Plus, Broncos fire 3 coaches. We learned about offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi a couple hours ago. And then in the last half hour, we also learned that wide receivers coach Kerry Colbert and cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch also gone. Quick quote from Sean Payton about those 3 firings. We will get into it. But, Cello, we have to begin with the AFC title game. It's the first time you and I have been on air since the Broncos fall 10-7 to the Patriots. Biggest takeaway watching that thing on Sunday afternoon?
Just the disappointment of it. Like, it was there. They kept giving you opportunities to go out there and seize your opportunity to punch your Super Bowl ticket, and the Broncos and Sean Payton couldn't do it. And obviously, this has been talked about for the last 2 days, but the call to not take the points, knowing what type of game you were going to be in, and knowing what was coming as far as Mother Nature was concerned as well, And I know you have the audio there too of the decision is probably more frustrating and regretful for Sean Payton. It just kind of seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like the coaching staff on the other side of the field was more prepped for what they were going to see in a road environment than your own coaching staff here. Like, I'll point to the Vrabel timeout right before half where they try and kick the 63-yard field goal. But he's so into the game, like he's calling a timeout as Drake May is going down to slide. Meanwhile, on our side, Jared Stidham falls short of the line to gain, and you look at it. I think at that point, you either know before it or not.
Right.
You should have that decision made prior to, and we've seen what's happened in the past when Sean Payton is kind of not sure of a call.
Little wishy-washy.
With that one, but go back to Cincinnati a year ago. The choice to not go for two and try and just win that game in regulation, go into overtime and end up losing it. So it was just frustrating because it was like it could never get going. And what you and I talked about last week and why you had concern, and me too, the biggest concern I had for Jarrett Stidham was the speed of the game. The awful mistake with the backwards pass, it screams like I wasn't like, it's like intramural football, right? When you go out and all of a sudden you got two guys running at you and you just kind of chuck it up. You have to realize the situation, and there's no really way to prep a guy who hasn't played in over 2 years to do that.
Well, and I think, too, you mentioned both those critical mistakes. How do you power rank the mistakes in that game? Because in my eyes, there's three really bad ones. There's the baffling call to not take the points to go up 10-0, which has been dissected. There's the Stidham literally gifting the Patriots 7 points when they only scored 10 on the day. And then there's the Will Lutz field goal getting blocked. And he also missed one before half that, quite frankly, Will Lutz has to make. But when it got blocked, there was this explanation from Lutz, which he has since backtracked a little bit on social media, but they were just guessing. They didn't know where the yardage was because the field was so snowy. And he said they lined up 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage when they should have been 8 yards. And you watch the replay, if they're 8 yards, that kick doesn't get blocked. And every angle I've seen, that kick's going in.
Yeah.
And they're tied 10-10, Shell.
Damn, it still almost went in after getting tipped.
And they may still be playing because I'm not so sure points were going to be real easy. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, that game could have gone deep into the afternoon and the evening if it's 10-10 because points would have been so hard to come by in overtime. So how do you sort of power rank those three in terms of this is why the Broncos aren't in the Super Bowl? Is it Sean on fourth down? Is it Jared with the backwards pass not taking the sack? Or is it the O-line on special teams getting a kick block that could have made it 10-10?
For me, because I've been saying it all postseason, and I think if you've watched the NFL playoffs, you've seen guys make these decisions week in and week out. Wild card weekend on Saturday, coaches should have learned, take the points. The Panthers got back into the game against the Rams because they didn't take the points. The Jacksonville Jaguars ended up losing a football game because they didn't take the points against the Buffalo Bills. And I'll throw another one in there, so I'll put that as number one. The Jarrett Stidham play is obviously number two because you just gift-wrapped 7 points.
Well, and what did we say all last week? He can't make catastrophic mistakes, and he made a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, and then third would be the field goal, but I'll throw another one. This goes back to the coaching. Why did they take a timeout before a punt late in that game? You take a timeout. You only had 2 left at that point. And now that at that point of the game, well, the clock was becoming an issue.
Yep.
And I don't really mind the decision later in the game to take a shot, but maybe take it with 7 minutes left when you had the ball at that time because you're going to have enough time to come back. New England was showing you, we're going to turn around and hand it off 2 downs, and then we'll just throw it away on 3rd down because there's no chance that we're going to go 70, 80 yards to score any points here. So that was another one that when that happened, I'm like, why would you do that there? Why would you even do that?
Yeah, and obviously it would have been a valuable timeout. Once Drake May got that first down, you knew they could just kneel it out and end the game and head to the AFC title game. Here was Sean Payton today, again, more reflective on maybe not necessarily the fact he went for it, but the play he called that never stood a chance.
I don't know which is the greater regret. The decision is certainly the play call. You know, back in the good old days, you used to be able to get a measurement. And there was something about a measurement that did 2 things. I knew he was short, and when you look at the film, he was actually a little shorter than they marked it. But it also buys you time to think of the call you want. So we used the timeout. I think probably what irks me more is the call. more than the decision. It's still early in the game now, and we knew there was going to be flurries. Well, we have a new feel for flurries here, or what can change at the base end of a mountain. But that, there are those moments where, that you wish you had back.
And to me, that makes me feel somewhat better as a Broncos fan, but not all the way better. Because honestly, I wish he had just said today, Cello, yeah, I had a backup QB. I had a chance to go up 10-0 with a blizzard coming. I should have just kicked the field goal. And instead, he sort of hedges by saying, well, it's not that I went for it. It's that I called this crappy passing play that never had a shot. And I was just telling Zach and Phil, I rewatched it 10 times today. It never did have a shot. I don't know what they were trying to do on that 4th and 1, but it just feels like he went halfway. Like sometimes if someone wrongs you and say, I apologize, but... No. Just apologize to me. You don't need to give the but. I thought today with Sean Payton, it was a little bit, again, somewhat satisfying, but I really just wish he had learned his lesson and said, guys, I had a backup. I got to go up 2 scores in that spot.
Because then you're putting listen, New England had pressure coming into that game anyways. They were supposed to win that football game. They were favored to win that football game. You go up 10-0 knowing what your defense, to that point, now you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think they had 12 plays and 12 yards.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything. Broncos defense was outstanding.
They were phenomenal, which was a concern of mine going into that game, and they answered, loud and clear that they were a legitimate top-ranked defense in this league. It's just that I'm with you. It's like, just admit it. Like, if it's starting to become a problem, first of all, that's one of your 5 to 7 best plays that you have in your playbook. Like, you called a timeout to go out there and have your offensive line look like they didn't know whose assignment was whose. You had 2 defensive linemen in the backfield from the word go. Jarrett Stidham had 0 chance.
Yep.
Lucky it wasn't picked off on that play as well. And here's what Jarrett Stidham, I think, did good on Sunday for a backup quarterback. When everything was dialed up the way the play was supposed to kind of play out and he was in rhythm, he was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But when you get punched in the face in a game, he never climbed the pocket straight up. He always went out to the side or backwards. And those things, that comes with not being on the field. Like, you can't replicate that. I don't care how many different practice scenarios you tried to throw at him. You weren't going to be able to replicate that game type of decision and situation.
A lot of good texts coming in on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. The 1110 says, Sean was coaching like he had Bo Nix playing and not a backup quarterback. I think that texter nailed it. I think Sean not only wanted to go to the Super Bowl, I think he wanted to shove it down everyone's throats. I have the best backup QB in the league, and we're not going to miss a beat going from Bo to Jarrett. That was obviously very wrong. Jarrett had the one really good drive, the very nice pass to Mims, the pass to Sutton. They go up 7-0, and they did not score the rest of the way. So I think you can argue that Sean's ego got in the way on the 4th down call, and it also got in the way that Sean wanted to prove to everyone Jarrett Stidham's the best backup on earth, and we're going to the Super Bowl. We know he told Tracy Wolfson they were going to win the game. I don't know if that was off the record or not, but she said it on the broadcast. And it felt to me like this was more about Sean being right than the Broncos going to the Super Bowl, and I have a problem with that. I'm not trying to fire the guy. I'm not trying to run him out of town, but you can't let your ego get in the way of potentially going to win a Lombardi trophy.
No, and then if you had that play and you knew going into the game, we get a 4th and 1 inside the red zone, we're going for it. There's going to be no question about it. You have a play designed up, you're ready to call. The indecisiveness was an issue because it took me back to the Cincinnati game. You know what I mean? It was like if you're unsure of it, then treat it like it's 4th and 5. What would you have done if it was 4th and 5? You'd have taken the points.
Of course.
And if you have any kind of worry about it or apprehension about what's in front of you, then always take the points.
And the problem is it's Tuesday, January 27th. We're going to be talking about this for months and months and months. And that's, I think, the biggest bummer as a fan is whenever you lose a heartbreaking game and your season ends, there's always storylines. But this, to me, goes into the equation of, like, the Nuggets blowing a 20-point lead to the Timberwolves when they could have gone back-to-back. Like, Sean not taking the points, even if they win a Super Bowl next year or the year after or whatever, that will always get talked about in this town. And it's easy to say now, oh, you should have taken the points. But the problem is I'm sure you were, Dante was. A lot of people were screaming at their TV at the time.
Been doing it for 3 weeks.
Take the damn points. And like you said, we learned that lesson very early on in these playoffs. It's not like he just made one bad decision and there was no evidence. There was plenty of evidence you need to take the points. And honestly, I think these NFL coaches need a little dose of reality on you can't just go for every fourth down because your ego makes you want to go for it.
Yeah, I think Mike Evans has said it. Like a field goal is like a bad word. It's a 4-letter word now. It's like you don't want to succumb to your opponent and say, "Oh, we can't get this done." That's fine, and I'm fine with the call in the regular season, but in an AFC Championship game, here's where I think it became a problem because you said they had the one good drive. The drive that they've come up short on fourth down, that was a decent drive, too.
It actually was. They did. That's a good point.
And
they did
I think
move the
Sean
ball there.
Payton was thinking, I'm going to get more of this for the rest of the afternoon, regardless of the weather. And the other thing, and it's been pointed out, too, it doesn't assure you the touchdown.
Nope.
He talked about it like 14 was going to be the end result. We've seen this team get stymied multiple times this season inside the red area, right? Like we've had to settle for field goals. So it wasn't a sure thing. So just take the points.
Well, and then the other thing about all this is the Broncos desperately missed Bo Nix. And
I think they win by 2 scores if he plays.
Oh, yeah. If Bo plays, they're going to the Super Bowl. There's no question in my mind. I want to get into this with you tonight, and I liked having you as a partner for this because I wrote about this at DenverSports.com this morning for my column. I think there was a little bit of disingenuous narration by Denver media last week. And I'm not calling anyone out on the station specifically. I'm talking the big picture here. But I thought people tried to shove it down people's throats that everything's fine, Nix to Stidham's not that big of a downgrade, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And honestly, it was misguided at best. It was dishonest at worst. And I was one of the people who took those arrows. I took them on social media. I took them on the text line. I took them on air. That this was a massive, massive deal, and it likely ended their season. And no one wants to hear a Debbie Downer or a wet blanket or this or that. I get it, but I'd rather hear the truth, right? We're all adults. I'd rather hear the truth. And I was very disappointed in some people who have large microphones, large social media followings, large platforms to spread information that tried to tell folks this is not that big a deal. I, on the other hand, tried to tell folks it's a massive deal. And ultimately, it did cost him the Super Bowl. And I was just disappointed how the Nix injury was handled.
Listen, I never wanted to try and diminish the loss of Bo Nix. And I said
and I'm
that
not saying you did.
No, all last week I said it was massive. I think the big problem was, and you said it a couple minutes ago, he coached the game as if he still had that player. There was no change in a game plan, which obviously he's your backup quarterback for a reason. He doesn't possess the same skill set as Bo Nix. And when you got late in that game and you missed the field goal, that's when I think most people in Denver were like, oh, man, because what does Bo Nix certainly have? He's got that clutch gene.
He's very clutch.
Like you're never out of a game. We've seen that multiple times in his tenure as the Broncos starting quarterback. That was something where it was like, and Jarrett Stidham, I don't want to bash him because I think he did okay with what was given to him. I think you could have been better on a coaching front, making it a little bit easier. We still got barely, 20 carries out of the running backs, which was something like we saw it the week before. There was only 10. Bo Nix had the other 12. So it's those type of deals. And there was times in that game where, dude, for as much notoriety as we've given our offensive line for the past 2 seasons, what do you have to show for it?
They had a bad day.
Horrible day. It looked kind of like the Jacksonville game to me. I haven't seen Quinn Miners turn around and look like that. He's running back to pick Jarrett Stidham up. That's almost more of a slap in the face. Your guy's the one who put me on the ground. Start blocking people.
Do you think, though, and I understand it's still raw and it's still early, do you think, in a sense, this was ultimately good news in the long run that I think even the biggest haters on Bo Nix were convinced, Bo's invaluable. And Bo's a fringe MVP candidate this year, and he'll be an MVP candidate for years to come. Like, did this finally put to bed any silly notion that Bo Nix isn't a franchise quarterback? Because you saw what it looked like without him. It was hard to watch after that second drive of the football game.
Well, and listen, a lot of the ways that we were convincing ourselves last week was Bo had some games like that too, where his numbers were very similar to the numbers that Jarrett Stidham put up the other day, and the Broncos had found a way to win. That was what was more frustrating, is all year long you've won games like this. I was at a game where it was, 10-7, 10-6, where you beat the Raiders and you had a terrible offensive game plan.
Yeah.
And it was boring to watch. You beat the Jets. What was the final of that one? 13-11?
13-11 in London.
Like that type of stuff where they've won it year in and year, or all year long, and they weren't able to do it on Sunday when the ultimate goal was right around the corner.
And here was the Sean Payton update on Bo Nix today.
He's doing well. He literally was just above us here. I asked him, what were you doing trying to get your scooter laps in? And so he's got X amount of time on the scooter. Then it goes to the crutches. Then it goes to the walking boot. So there's a process. You got to know him. He's fidgety to begin with. And so he might have been just getting his scooter laps in, but he was up there like in an area where I'm like, he never would be in department-wise. I think it's he's handling it like a pro. I'm sure there's disappointment, for him to have to watch.
Think about that. Bo Nix is taking his scooter laps down there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. The news is that he's going to be back in May. That's what both Sean Payton and George Payton more or less confirmed today. That's what Ian Rappaport had over the weekend, 3-4 months. Listen, if he's not there for an OTA or two, I'm not really going to panic. Obviously, it's all about training camp. But it was a significant injury for Bo, and I think for as bad as I feel, you feel, Broncos country feels, think about if you're Bo Nix, man. Think about if you're Bo Nix. I mean, there's a real chance you're hoisting Lombardi in your second year in the NFL, and instead you got to watch the game from a suite in a blizzard. That's talk about rip your heart out. And I know he posted and had a very classy post, and he's relying on his faith, and I think all that's great. But Bo Nix himself has got to be sitting there today going, why me, man? Why me? And we also heard Sean said that the surgeon basically noted that the ankle was going to break. It was a matter of when, not if. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what Sean said. He's probably wishing the thing had broke when he was on a hike, or something like that. It's just so cruel, and it's a reminder sports are cruel, but it's great that Bo's doing well, but that's my other big takeaway from this is we were absolutely robbed of Broncos-Seahawks Super Bowl 48 revenge because Bo Nix broke his ankle.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you bring up that he was predispositioned to basically having this injury. It wasn't if it was going to happen, it was a when. I do want to know what preventative measures are you going to take going forward? Because if it's something that it was just a predisposition of maybe that's the way his body is, like what can you do to try and help prevent it? Because since that happened, obviously people have gone back and seen the prior injuries and surgeries that he's had on his feet and ankles. So that's a concern. And yeah, for Bo Nix, the one thing that you said that I think he's going to rely heavily on is his faith. And he said that in that post. God doesn't make oops.
Mm-hmm.
Like you may be able to feel bad about it initially, but I trust the way that he's presented himself over the 2 years he's been the Broncos starting quarterback, that he's going to internalize it and realize, hey, dude, Dan Marino got to a Super Bowl his second year. Nothing's guaranteed in this game, which is that much more frustrating about the loss of your starting quarterback. Seconds left in a divisional game to get you to an AFC championship game is when are you going to have an opportunity again? I'd venture to say the record probably won't be as good next year, but they might be a better football team. But that doesn't, all that stuff gets thrown out. You just have to get to the dance.
And schedule gets a lot tougher. You're playing a first-place schedule next year.
I mean, like, look at the Buffalo Bills. For Josh Allen, is he in his 8th or 9th year? And has not even...
He was in that 2018 class.
Hasn't even participated in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, those type of things will motivate him, too, but it's also like, when will we ever have this opportunity? Some of the players in the locker room the other day were echoing that sentiment. I think Adam Troutman was one because those guys, they'll never know if they're going to have that opportunity again.
Yeah, the 53-44 says... the Broncos have one playmaker on the offensive side of the football. His name is Bo Nix. That's it. George Payton and Sean Payton have vastly overrated their talent at tight end, running back, and wide receiver and should be held accountable. I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, I think Courtland Sutton can be good at times. I also think he had a bad drop on Sunday, and he also had those 2 drops in overtime.
You didn't have a good playoffs, man.
No, if they lose to the Bills, Courtland Sutton's a GOAT for what happened, those 2 drops in OT, a guy who had never won a playoff game up until that point. But I think the texter's onto something here. I would say, and this actually kind of ticks me off, I would say that Marvin Mims Jr. is their second best playmaker on offense outside of Bo Nix. Maybe J.K. Dobbins is in that conversation too. And they criminally underutilized the guy all season long and finally let him spread his wings in the playoffs. It's like, that's great. But where was this in September, October, November, and in December? It was crazy. And I also think, to the texter's point, Cello, it's a little glaring that they're just not very good at the skill positions. They went 14-3 with very mediocre play at the skill positions.
Well, not only that, but you had Evan Ingram come out yesterday and say, I was just doing what I was told to do.
Right.
It wasn't for lack of me wanting to be a bigger part of this offense. And maybe that's ultimately why a guy like Joe Lombardi is no longer a member of the coaching staff. But the play caller is your head coach.
Yep.
And you have some of these weapons. I think Evan Ingram was underutilized. I agree with you on the Mims one. And I also think that with R.J. Harvey late. Like, I mean, that dude is – I love having him a part of this team. He's got to be able to run the ball better, and I think that'll come with maturity. But him out of the backfield and the ability to break tackles and make people miss, there's pieces there. But now you finally have the moolah to go out and get some of these specialized kind of explosive type of players. So it'll be interesting to see now that the Russell Wilson money is off the books, what the Broncos do. I heard you guys talking about it at the end of the drive, and you kind of alluded to it, that George Payton is leaving the breadcrumbs saying something big's coming.
Yeah, let's hear from George today on not having the dead cap from Wilson and if guys are going to want to come play in Denver.
Yeah, I think players will want to come here for a number of reasons. I think number one is ownership. That's the number one, and you can see what they've done, what they're doing, what they continue to do, and all the resources and leadership they've shown. I think quarterback makes a big difference. Players wanting to come to the quarterback and the fan base in Denver. I mean, people love it here, and I think that helps. And now we're playing at a high level, and again, it starts over. But I think players will want to be here.
I mean, obviously, we'll have 6 weeks to really deep dive and preview free agency and talk about who the Broncos should pursue. But to me, Cello, it's wide receiver, man, and I think it's big splash at wide receiver. I think it's make Cortland Sutton your wide receiver 2. In my eyes, that would be a successful free agency period, whether it be signing a guy or trading for a guy. Such a household name that all of Broncos country pauses going, I can't believe he's coming to Denver to be our new number 1 wide receiver. That would be 1A priority for me in free agency. And I don't care about the draft. They're picking 30th or whatever. I'm talking about free agent, household name, wide receiver, get him in a Broncos
uniform. Do you have a wish list?
Sure.
Give me a couple of them.
I mean,
I know you guys brought up 2 at the end of the drive.
Yeah, they brought up George Pickens and A.J. Brown.
I'm
not so sure on either of those. But I think the Bengals are yay close to tearing the whole thing down. And last year, who was a hot name? T. Higgins?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about T. Higgins. I would try to find a way to put Jamar Chase in
Holy
Denver.
cow. Yeah, well, everybody would love that.
But you're in the Super Bowl window. You went 14-3.
Well,
I mean,
man, listen,
we're just wishing Jamar's number 1 on my list.
Well, I kind of scoff at initially, but because the NFL doesn't typically do this, right? I mean, think of some of the big names that have ever been moved in NFL history. It doesn't happen all that often. You have the Saquon Barkley one he ends up in Philadelphia. The big move here in Denver that we all remember real well when they traded Clinton Portis for Champ Bailey, because that was an effort to try and slow down Peyton Manning in that offense, which was knocking them out of the playoffs year in and year out. I'm not against it. I don't know the reality of it, but listen, if you think it's that and you need that type of player, I think that it's probably a little premature. I think the Bengals are going to try and run it back one more time with the group that they have and hope that Joe Burrow stays healthy for a full season. You remember they were 3-0, I think, when he went down. They're a completely different team when he plays, which leads back to the backup quarterback conversation. You played that game like you weren't Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions going for it on that 4th down, knowing what kind of weapons you have, and you had a backup quarterback and a sketchy run game. All leads back to just taking the points.
And if they take the points, we're sitting here talking about Super Bowl 60. rather than the offseason. And that's what's
the
frustrating.
butterfly effect is always interesting, I think, because you never know what's going to happen after that. Obviously, the Patriots probably would have been a little more aggressive, but the Broncos defense was lights out that day.
And, oh, by the way, they're playing in a blizzard down 10-0. And 7 of their 10 points came when you fumbled the football and gave them a gift. All right, we hinted at it. The Broncos did fire 3 coaches today. What does it mean? Who are they? We will dive into it next.
Jarrett Stidham came out on fire, but ultimately couldn't overcome the Patriots defense. With bad weather and no run game, did Denver's offensive inconsistency finally catch up to them? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hi, Dan Cicchini with Dunright. Great pricing options and bank financing? You bet. Kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Done right since 1985. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right. Visit drhi.com. Thanks.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Helzberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at Helzberg.com.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
Denver Men's Hoops hosts Omaha Saturday, January 31st. Tip-off set for 2 p.m. in Hamilton.
Jeremiah Burke, wide open 3. Yes, sir.
Create a home court advantage for the Pios. Wear your crimson and gold and cheer them to a victory. Got a group of 10 or more? We have discounted tickets and experiences available. Chat with us online to learn more and save. Denver hosts Omaha Saturday at 2 p.m. Join us.
Hey Broncos country, it's Terrell Davis here. It's a new year. It's time to work on a new you.
At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. We have the nation's lowest prices on the best equipment money can buy. We carry true treadmills. They are the smoothest, quietest, and best warranty treadmills ever built for the home. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose from the safety and comfort of your own home. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Brandon Stokely here for Colorado's hometown HVAC team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Is your heating system struggling to perform and need to be traded? It has never been easier to get a quote for a new heating system. Rocks Heating and Air offers a free online heating and cooling quoting system so that you can quickly and accurately get pricing on a new system. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
When you've been hit by an 18-wheeler, there's 3 things you need to do. First, call the police and get medical care. Second, don't talk to the insurance company alone. And third, call the truck crash lawyers at Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson has 50 years of experience holding them accountable and over $50 million recovered after truck crashes. Call Berg Simpson today and let us fight for you so you can focus on healing.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Are you worrying about those upcoming credit card bills after the holidays? If you're a homeowner,
quarter, there's no better time than now to call American Financing and wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, and set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the 4th time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate in the low 5s. You heard that right, in the low 5s. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise to start the new year. There are no upfront fees and no obligation to see how much you can save. And they are closing some in as fast as 10 days and even delaying 2 mortgage payments. American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans. Call them today at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
All right, so the Broncos fired 3 coaches today. Official email came at 5:25 p.m., so a little more than an hour ago. Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton on Tuesday announced the team has parted ways, not fired, parted ways with offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, wide receivers coach Kerry Colbert, and cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch. Quote from Sean, "I want to thank these coaches for playing an important role in elevating our program over the last 3 seasons. I've been fortunate to work with Joe Lombardi for 15 years and am particularly grateful for his many contributions to our success as offensive coordinator. We sincerely appreciate Joe, Kerry, and Addison's hard work and wish them all the best in the future." All right, let's dive into this, Cello. Your biggest reaction or biggest surprise of firing the OC, wide receivers coach, and cornerbacks coach?
It's kind of like a mini mass exodus, and it's what you typically see from a team that underperformed.
Right.
Not a team that went 14-3. But it also spells to you that this organization and their leadership council says this isn't good enough. Like, whatever changes we have to make, no matter how difficult they must be, because you would imagine Sean and Joe were probably good friends if they worked that together for that long, 15 years.
Years and years in New Orleans.
So it's not an easy thing to do, but I was a little surprised by it, honestly. Well, the biggest surprise is probably the defensive backs coach.
You're speaking about Addison Lynch, coaching the corners. Yeah, because what did he do? Did he tell Riley Moss to grab too much? I'm being serious. I don't know. Surtain, great player. McMillan literally saved your season against the Bills. Riley Moss, for all of his ups and downs, did have some good moments this year. I wouldn't think cornerback coach was a change that anyone saw coming.
I didn't, so that's why that one's a little bit more surprising to me. The other two kind of makes sense, although it feels a little scapegoatish to have Joe Lombardi kind of take the fall, knowing that, you had the title offensive coordinator, but you weren't the one calling the plays.
Yeah, but he kind of had that little bit of the Office Space. You've seen Office Space?
Mm-hmm.
When he meets with
what
the Bobs.
What exactly do you do
here?
What
would you say you do here? I think that's how people felt about Joe Lombardi. So let me run this theory by you. Davis Webb is interviewing. He's literally in Vegas right now, probably having dinner with, what's the owner? Davis. Mark Davis and his bad haircut.
Famously took a picture with Mark Davis.
We did take a picture with Mark Davis. And Mark Davis had some 25-year-olds with some eye candy on his arm. That was when we were at Super Bowl 50 10 years ago. He literally could be at dinner with Mark Davis, but is firing Joe Lombardi, letting Davis Webb know, we really believe in you, and we want you to be the offensive coordinator of the Broncos.
I think that's a valid point for sure. And I was listening to Zach and Phil kind of dissect it when the news broke about hey, maybe you should look at these positions that are still available, because what is it? The Raiders, the Browns, and the Cardinals that still don't have head coaches, and those would be the people that have interest. Obviously, the Raiders most notably because he's there. And normally I would agree with you, let's slow down because your organization hasn't been good for quite some time. But you also haven't had Tom Brady leading it in the past. So I think that's going to be a hard sell to get over, because if Brady really likes him, he's going to push to sell him and say, hey, we're going to get this thing turned around. I'm the guy to do it. I'm the GOAT. But that remains to be seen. Michael Jordan left to go to the front office and has never really experienced success in that role.
Sure. Not everyone can be John Elway or Joe Sakic.
No. So, I mean, that'll be a hard press to get over. But, yeah, I think that if you do make that move, but then the butterfly effect or the domino effect from that, Will, is, all right, if you want me to be the OC, how much leash are you going to give me?
Or are you going to let me call the plays?
Because do you think anytime soon Sean Payton's going to relieve himself of that duty?
No.
The way he's spoken about it in recent months, does that give you an idea that he's like, hey, there's a lot going on here now?
Well, he said the game is getting a little fast for him. And like, I don't know health-wise what Sean has going on, but whenever they zoom in on him, you can tell like the hand is shaking when he's got the play call. Like, I think Sean Payton is brilliant, but I also think that your brain's got to be able to keep up with everything. And I love Sean as the head coach. I'm not trying to run Sean out of town, but man, can you imagine if we get the press release, Davis Webb has been promoted to offensive coordinator and will call the plays? I think like 95% of Broncos country would embrace that.
I would agree with you. And it's not like it's far-fetched. I mean, he's getting interest all around the league. He was tied to the Buffalo job for a short time. This is a guy, what is he, had 2 years as a quarterback's coach?
I mean, the dude was like backing up in New York just a few years ago? Like, he was wearing the uniform just like 2, 3, 4 years ago for the Giants.
Exactly. So, like, we talked about the Broncos jumping a few spaces on the game board to get where they got this year. This would be a huge one for him. Just to get those interviews means something. So it's going to be Sean Payton, George Payton, the crew trying to – that's the biggest combat they're going to have is, I think, with Tom Brady leading the Raiders. That's different than going there 2 years ago before he took that role there.
Right. But then I guess I'll answer it, and I want you to answer it, the million-dollar question. Did they fire Joe Lombardi as a message to Davis Webb?
I think so.
I do too. And that gets awkward real quick if dinner goes well at the Bellagio tonight and we get the tweet from Schefter that Davis Webb is the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
That's where it gets super dicey. It's like, maybe don't fire Lombardi until you know Webb is in, not when he's in the desert getting wined and dined. That's what scares me. You may have fired Lombardi today, and you may still lose Davis Webb.
Well, to your point earlier, though, what exactly was Joe Lombardi doing?
I don't know.
And how hard will that be to replace? The only way that you could convince Davis Webb to take that kind of a promotion would be to assure him, hey, there's more opportunities that will come from you. Look at the team that we have already. We're only going to add weapons to this roster offensively, and you'll be a big part of designing game plans. Or we'll let you call plays. And maybe that's one thing that you got a taste of it in the preseason, right?
You did. He
let
called
him do it
against the Cardinals, right?
So, like, in years gone by, I don't think Sean Payton would ever relinquish that duty for this team. I still don't really buy it 100% that he would let that role go of being. I think he likes being in control of those. But to the point that we were discussing a few minutes ago, does a 45, 48-year-old Sean Payton win that game the other day?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Just because he's more decisive, you think?
Mm-hmm. And I also think that the ego has grown with Sean. Like, the ego's even bigger than it was when he was 45 years old. And he wanted to show everyone, I can win an AFC title game with Jarrett Stidham, and it blew up in his face.
I think he was a prisoner of the moment because of the early score and then the drive where they don't convert on fourth down. They were moving the football.
Yes.
And I think he really thought this is going to continue. It's not much different than a year ago in Buffalo when Bo Nix hits Troy Franklin for that long touchdown. The smirk that Sean Payton gave after that touchdown was scored was like, we're going to win this thing. And even as an interview, the one you were talking about with Tracy Wolfson, at halftime, he still seemed supremely confident that they were going to win that football game.
All right, a lot of reaction. Mike chimes in and says, do you guys really want to pay a wide receiver $40 million per year? That's a response to me saying I think the Broncos should trade for Jamar Chase. Listen, Bo Nix is so good and so elite, and that got proven even more on Sunday with him in a suite watching the game. Absolutely. It's not my money, Mike. And I think the NFL cap is a myth. I think they should do everything in their power to get an elite wide receiver one and make Cortland Sutton wide receiver two.
Look at how good they got when that money wasn't being utilized at all.
Right.
I mean, the guy played for 2 other franchises, and you got nothing out of it. So,
You're talking about Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, yeah. So, go ahead. And we know that money was there. You just couldn't access it because of what happened with the Russell Wilson deal. Now go ahead and utilize it.
Well, and then one more really good question here from Brian that I want to run by you. Do you guys think ownership has the onions to ask Sean to give up play calling now that they've sat back and viewed this for the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah.
You think Greg Penner would tell Sean Payton,
no, I don't think it would
promoting
be
Davis Webb and you're giving him play calling?
I don't think it would be a directive. I think it would be more of a conversation. Have you ever thought about this? What it would free you up to do in the other portions of the game, where we've seen kind of struggles over the past couple of years with the timeouts, just the game management stuff, where it seems like some of those things have gotten away from him. So I think it could be a conversation. I don't think it's a directive by any means.
Interesting. All right, plenty more from Sean Payton and George Payton at the podium today. We will dive into it next.
Sean Payton said he couldn't coach scared this week, and he certainly followed through. But did his aggressive mindset cost the Broncos a shot at the Super Bowl? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
Intuit TurboTax Free Edition. See if you qualify at TurboTax.com/free. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, Student Loan Interest, and Schedule 1A.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details. Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Tune into Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
All right, so the Broncos, for the first time in a long time, do not have that Russell Wilson dead cap number hanging over them. I'm on the record, Cello, that the salary cap is a bit of a myth, and I think Sean has navigated it very well, both here and both in New Orleans.
Here, isn't it?
Yeah.
We should have not been a playoff team the past few years.
14-3 with the largest dead cap in NFL history.
Yeah.
But it's gone. It's done. It's finally. Like, the nightmare is over. The trade of Russell Wilson is firmly in the past. Real quick before we get to the Sean sound, how ironic would it have been if the Broncos and Seahawks played in the Super Bowl 4 years after making one of the most infamous trades in NFL history?
Well, and just because of what happened the first time those two teams met.
True, that too.
In Super Bowl 48. So it's one of those things that's, without Bo Nix, I think most people were like, yeah, they weren't going to win. And then I'm not so sure that I even buy into the argument, had they won, would they even had a shot against Seattle because of how good the defense looked on Sunday. And I know the Patriots haven't played the last couple weeks and in the postseason for sure as good as they did in the regular season. But it's like one of those, it's not a missing rings type of team. It is, I guess, kind of because you lost your signal caller.
Right.
You just, I think they win that game if he plays. And I think you got a legitimate chance to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy in Santa Clara on February 8th if he was still available.
No, I totally agree. I mean, they played the AFC title game without QB1, RB1, wide receiver 2, and wide receiver 3, Pat Bryant, for most of the football game. You know, people are like, oh, why did they lose? Well, injuries caught up to them. That's a pretty clear explanation for why they lost. But here was Sean Payton earlier today at his end of the season press conference on going into this offseason without all that dead cap space.
I think, like in any case, if I said I'm going to give you $50,000 to decorate your home or $200,000, the home's going to look nicer, I think, if you're a decent shopper, if you have more money. I think the same takes place with our sport. And I'm proud of the way everyone else handled it and looked at developing young players and didn't use it as a built-in excuse. You know, we can find those all the time. So, but I think it's significant, and it's still important. We evaluate wisely, we draft wisely, we make these decisions regarding free agency with well thought out plans, and we go from there.
And here's George Payton on the same subject.
Yeah, I think players will want to come here for a number of reasons. I think...
My bad. We already played that one. But point being that this team was already really good with all that dead cap space, and now they don't have it why not make this the number one free agent destination in the NFL? Why not improve the roster and show that you have the richest ownership group? I like what Sean said. If someone gives you $50,000 to decorate your house, you're going to do a nice job. If they give you $200,000, you're going to do a really nice job. I think the sky is the limit on what can happen over the next few months with this Broncos team.
I agree, and I haven't dove into breaking down free agency already. I don't know who's available, who they'd have interest in. I think some of the bigger names that you're speaking of would probably be more on the trade-based side of things, but something's coming. They both spoke about it. They're laying down the breadcrumbs that, hey, man, this team is pretty damn good as it sits right now. Wait till we get to do those home renovations. Watch what they are next year. And I think ownership is a huge deal for players. But now knowing that you have a signal caller that can get you to a championship game in Bo Nix, and this year wasn't even close to, I think, as good as he can be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see him continue to grow and even get better. Those are the type of things that brought players in when Payton was here. Just the opportunity to play with a quarterback that you know is competent and that's going to get you in positions to win football games and have a chance at a championship.
Well, and have you driven by Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit recently? I mean, look at that facility.
Construction.
I mean, look at that thing. That thing is incredible.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got a new stadium coming, likely in 2031. I mean, this reminds me. Do you remember when John Elway broke the internet after Super Bowl 48? Because he signed Aqib Talib, DeMarcus Ware, and TJ Ward in free agency. I'm expecting similar stuff. I'm with you. I have not done a deep dive into free agents. We're very fresh and raw off this AFC title game loss. But if you tell me 2 months from now, hey, the Broncos are going to spend the most money in free agency and they're going to have the most wow moments with guys they signed, I would 100% unequivocally believe you.
Well, it's like Jurassic Park. Spared no expense. That's the way they're going to look at it. And now that this ownership group has had a taste of a little bit of success last year and then getting as close as they did this year with the unfortunate loss of Bo Nix, knowing that these guys are winners, man. They're in the positions they are because they know they succeed a lot more than they fail.
Correct.
And they want to taste that ultimate success at the NFL level, and that's by winning a championship. And it may be harsh to say it, but this isn't the roster that was going to do it because of the loss of your quarterback. Now you have a chance to go out and just make it that much better. I'm excited for it. Normally, over these past couple years, we're like, ugh, what's going to be super exciting about it? We haven't really dove into free agency, say for this last year, to get contributions from players that are going to make a difference, like they did with Hufanga and Greenlaw. Now see what you can do on the offensive side.
I guess Sean's first year, they did make a little bit of a splash with McGlinchey and Powers, right? That was sort of reshaping the O-line, but you and I talked about it a little earlier. The O-line didn't have a good game on Sunday, but yeah, I'm expecting something big, man. I'm expecting something big, and I think Denver will be a destination. We'll close on this. Do you think, obviously it hurts, and we wish we were previewing the Super Bowl, but do you think that the window is 10% open, 20% open? Like, where is it at in terms of cracked for a Super Bowl?
Oh, man, after this season, I'd be silly, I think, to go less than like 30%.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and that's what's so exciting because you look at the Nuggets, it's still open, but that thing's closing at some point. The Avs
this is
still
on the other
open.
way. You're
It's still
opening it, yeah.
Right, like the Broncos are going to be the dominant team in Denver over the next decade. Avs and Nuggets could definitely have parades this summer, but the Broncos, it feels like it's just getting started. Now, that said, you gave up 10 points in an AFC title game at home and you lost. So we can't gloss over that fact that, it really could have been a parade in 3 weeks. It won't, but interesting day down at Dove Valley, no doubt about it. For Dante and Cello, I'm Will. It's DST on the Fan.
Tune into The Rundown with Richie Carney every weekday at noon on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Presented in part by The Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier indoor golf bar experience. Check out this week's live music, trivia, and other fantastic events at thebirdie.bar on the web and Instagram. Denver Sports 104.